So hello everyone. We are here today for a webinar about the Global Minds Masters. This is a European Masters in the Psychology of Global Mobility, Inclusion and Diversity in Societies. And we are gathered here with people from 3 different universities and alumni and current students. And the way we want to continue today is to take you through the program. So we introduce the program, but what we would also like to do is, while we're introducing the program, discussing about it from our experiences, so that you get a more lived experience, sense of what the master's program is all about. We had another webinar about a month ago where we went a little bit more book-like, you know, this is what you do, this is what you do, this is what will happen. So that recording is also there. So today we wanted to have it a little bit more interactive, so that we can highlight what is different, what is special, and why we hope that you will attend and come and study with us. So this is the Global Minds team at the moment, and it is pretty global. Since we are in very many different countries at the moment. And I think we have Bea on the call now as well. So what we could do is go around the table. So I'll start with myself. I am Anca Minescu. I am a lecturer in psychology at the University of Limerick. And we are taking the program now to the University of Limerick, to Ireland. The program used to live in Lisbon and basically being run from Lisbon in 4 other universities, and now we're bringing the program to be run from Limerick, and in that sense I will be then the coordinator. And then we have Elizabeth and Radek, who are from Portugal and from Poland in the local teams over there. And they have also been involved with the program from day one. I'll pass on to you guys in a second. And then we have Bea. Bea is an alumni from the very first cohort of the Global Minds program. And she can also tell us not only how the program was, but what happened after. Okay, so what kind of doors or ideas people get during studying Global Minds. And then we have Diana and Afroha Rosie, and they are currently in their last year. So they're working very hard, I know, on their master thesis. And the idea of all of us here as a team is to present the inside view into the Global Minds program, right? Do you guys want to say something about yourselves at this point, or just say hello? We start with Elizabeth, maybe, on like it's on the slides.
Hi. Yes, so I work at the University ISTE in Lisbon, Portugal, which has been the coordinator, and I have been the administrative coordinator for the first iteration of the program, so for the last more or less 5 years. And I will be sort of stepping down, and that position will basically be going to Radek. So I have some of the history and knowledge of the details of the program.
And you know all the inside outs from the minute that people apply. So Elizabeth would normally have all the answers already at the application phase, to the minute that they walk out the door, graduated with after a 2-year research experience with us. So I'm really happy that you're with us, Elizabeth, today, because you do have many answers. And Radek?
Hi, my name is Radek. I'm at SWPS University in Warsaw. I was also involved with the program from the very beginning. I used to be the local administrative coordinator for Poland of Global Minds of the first edition. And now I'm working with Anka to set up the program at Limerick.
Thank you. And your work, by the way, is invaluable. Will we continue with Diana? Diana used to be in Limerick for a while and is now in Norway. And Norway is the country of the 4th university. So right now the program will be run between 4 countries: Ireland, Poland, Portugal, and Norway. And in a second now, I will show you when people get where in terms of the paths into the program. But Didi is in Norway now, so she's our Norwegian representative, even if she actually came from Colombia, right?
Yes, so hello, my name is Diana. I am, as Anka mentioned, current student in the Global Minds program. I am part of the Path A. So I had the opportunity to be in Portugal in the first semester, then I traveled to Limerick, and now I'm here in Norway. And well, happy to answer questions.
Thank you so much for being here, Didi. And in your cohort is also Rosie. I call her Rosie. She told me it's okay, but you can introduce yourself with whatever name you like.
Hi everyone, I am Afroza Hamid Rosie. You can call me Rosie or Afroza. I don't have any problem, and I'm happy to share that it's Elizabeth who told all of us that, okay, we will call you Rosie. So from that moment, everyone started to call me Rosie. And yes, happy to be here. I'm also from Path A, and I'm currently at UL University of Limerick in Ireland.
Thank you. You are actually the only one at the university, to be honest, because we have been remotely working for a long time now with the COVID pandemic. But Rosie has accommodation that the University of Limerick provides on our campus. We are a campus university. A little bit the American dream in Europe, you know, with a lot of green and a lot of buildings and even a river in the middle of it. Some of us get to experience that because they live very close to it, while some of us who are working from home really miss it a lot at the moment. So thank you, Rosie. And Bea, what about your journeys through life? Originally from Spain.
Hi everyone, I'm sorry for being late. So yeah, originally from Spain, I did Path A as DD and I studied Lisbon, then I moved to Limerick, and during my third semester, I did an internship in Berlin actually, and then I came back to Limerick for the thesis. And then 2 years later, I'm back as part of the UL staff as a research assistant. So very happy to be here despite all the quarantine and working from home. But yeah, super happy to answer any kind of questions or doubts that you may have.
Thank you. And I love the fact that you also had journeyed outside of the countries of the program, because this is also one of the things that our program facilitates. When the students can go on an internship, then they can arrange to go on an internship in any country they like, right? So it doesn't have to be restricted to the countries where the program is offered. I will talk a bit about that later. So we already said that there are 4 universities. These are their formal official names and stamps and everything you can find here as well as on our website. And I suppose the interesting thing is that we are really running the program together, right? So even if the program is based and lives very much in the 4 universities, we often meet, and the way we call ourselves when we meet is like we're the governing board. So we're trying to have this board where we collaborate from day one throughout the program to monitor how things are happening, to stay in touch, and also to be aware of what's going on with the delivery of the program. So, you know, who teaches what and when, but also with our students who actually move from one place to the other. So it's very important to have these board meetings where people from all the partner universities really stay in touch with each other. Because to be honest, the students stay in touch with each other much more anyway, because they have WhatsApp and they are on social media and all this stuff. So the communication between the students is almost taken for granted because students are always so creative, inventive, and relate to each other a bit more than sometimes universities do. But we really have established a good history in this collaboration. And the reason for this slide is just to show that we are coming from 2017 to the current form of the program. So right now in 2021, which is the time where you would join us, the program looks a little bit different because we used to have a partner in Turkey, a university in Turkey that could not longer be part of the consortium. So we redesigned the program just between the 4 out of the 5 original universities. And as I said earlier, we're bringing it to Limerick, to Ireland from Portugal. And this, I think, is also an interesting part of our consortium because we are trying to use all the benefit and the expertise of all the partners. So this move between institutions is also interesting in that way because we are using each other's strengths in running the program. These are some of the cohorts of our students, and yeah, we can say that yes, they finished. Which is always a good thing to say about the master's program. But I suppose this is the more interesting slide for somebody who wants to study. And the idea is that we are offering 3 paths of study. So path A is is around culture and diversity. Path B is in mobility and society, and path C is actually a new path that we didn't have before, and it's called inclusion and health. Okay, and basically what these paths mean is that it directs your mobility journey through the program, right? So the difference between the paths are in content. So the content is slightly different between these 3 different paths, but most importantly, the countries where you're going to stay, live, visit are also detected by them. So on path A, you start in Portugal. ISTE is the name of the university in Lisbon. And then in the 2nd semester, you come to the University of Limerick, to UL in Ireland. And then in the 2nd year, you either stay in Ireland or you go back to Portugal, okay? And then for your internship, you can travel elsewhere as well. And by the way, there's a summer school in the middle where everybody gets together. Okay, so I'll come back to the summer school because it's also one interesting event and nice moment where everybody comes together from the different universities and the different paths. In path B, you start in SWPS, which is the name of the university in Warsaw, where Radek is from. And then in the 2nd semester, you go to Oslo, to University of Oslo, where Didi is right now. And then you either go back to Poland or you stay in Norway. And again, for the internship, you can travel elsewhere. And in path C, you start in Poland, you come to Ireland, and then in the 2nd year, you can either stay in Ireland or go back to Poland, right? So this is, yeah, this is how it looks. And you have to make these choices already at the beginning. So when you apply for the program, you have to express a preference. Where would you like to study? And then we take it from there, okay? And I suppose when we talk about these paths, what I would like to do is maybe I'll stop sharing the screen for a second, and I'll invite everybody to comment on something, right? And the something to comment on would be, how did you guys experience this jointness, right? So this is what is unique about the Global Minds Masters, that is jointly offered by multiple universities. So from a university perspective, it's about collaborating with the other partner universities. How is that? Is that, yeah, how is that working for you? Is it working well? Well, I'll start by saying, yes, it's working. And it's exciting and very, yeah, sometimes difficult, but it's also, it makes it more exciting when it works, yeah, despite the difficulties. But the jointness is also in the fact that the students get to visit different places, right? So you get to start in one place, move to the next, go back and study again and so on. So maybe I'll start with that student perspective, because I think that's probably the most interesting one for potential applicants. So how did you experience this move between universities in the Global Minds? Is it worth it? Is it a lot of trouble? Is it worth it? How did it go for you? So Didi, do you want to start? Because you actually moved, I'll come back to you, Bea, after Didi, is that all right? But Didi actually moved 3 times, right? So she started in Portugal, then came to Limerick and is now in Oslo. So how are you finding this experience, Didi?
Wow. Well, one of the main reasons for which I decided to apply for this master was because of that jointness of the master, the opportunity to travel abroad, and the opportunity to study in different universities. Every country is different. In every country, you will learn something new. Every country you will meet wonderful people. I don't regret my life choices when I decided to be in Path A, and then when I decided to come to Norway, even under the current pandemic circumstances, it has been difficult to socialize, but well, still it's worth it to be here and just get to know more about cultural difference, because that is what our master is about. We are talking about intergroup relations, we are talking about global mobility, and when you experience it, then it's easy to learn and then try to think in ways to apply that knowledge to something new. So yeah, that is my experience. What about you, Bea?
Well, that was fantastic, because that was the point that I wanted to make, that like mobility and get to know a lot of people and get to know, as you said, different educational systems and how the teaching dynamics or the class dynamics in one country can be completely different from another. So I think that that experience is always enriching, but when you are talking about a master that is about that, it's about that diversity, it's about that mobility, it's about emphasizing the good intergroup relations. It's exactly what you said. It is even better in my sense, because you're not only learning from the class, the content, the professor, you're also learning from the experience that you're having with your partners, because at the end, the cohort is always super multicultural. You have classmates that is from literally the other side of the world, from a different cultural background, from a different religious background, with a different experience background, and when you get to know to talk about these issues from someone and from a very diverse cohort, is way more enriching. So this is fantastic. This mobility is fantastic for any kind of program, but I think that for this specific, it's even better.
Bea, thank you. And of course, we brought you here because we thought you would say the good things, right? But maybe we can also mention about, when things are more difficult, right? So maybe Afroja, would you like to talk about that? Because, for example, one of the things that makes mobility difficult, and one of the things that we study in the program when we talk about migration is, visas. The fact that, migration is not just an individual journey, but is a moment in individuals' lives where you realize the power of the systems to control your life, right? So, there are different countries with different regulations, with different visas, with different procedures, and so on. And you really do get to experience these things, right? So, and there are conditions, for example, how much hours you can work as a student. So some of our students in Ireland right now can only work 20 hours a week, and others can work 40 hours a week, things like this. So do you have any insights, Rosie, in that aspect of, you do experience it, right, when you move countries?
Yes. Thank you very much, Didi and because yes, it's so relevant the way Bea and Didi, they are saying that about intercultural experience, that diverse cohort, it's true. But besides that, there are some life experiences, and that will go beyond our study. For example, all of those logistic issues, because I'm from a background, non-European background. So coming from non-European background and a society which is so collectivistic. So we use we. So we always use we words. So our living, our life pattern, and communication pattern, everything is so different. And again, all of those visa related issues, yes, all of those are a bit different for for different people. But I would say the most important and fascinating part of this masters that we students, we always got support from our coordinator, for example, Elizabeth, for example, Anka. So we always got support, 100% support, whether it's logistic issue, whether it's sometimes it can be personal issues. So yes, so I would say everyone, not because I have to say something good, that this is true, that here all the coordinators, all the lecturers, so they are so understanding and they are so diverse and prone to diverse. So yes, yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and maybe this is a point where Radek can also come in and tell us something from his experience, because in his role also at the international office, as well as with the program, you know, he actually also contributed to solving some of our problems that we encountered, right? So for example, Radek put together one of the web pages that we have on the website with different kinds of financial supports as well, you know, and this is also even now more relevant than ever, because in 2021 we do not have program scholarships to offer. We used to have some scholarships offered by the European Union through the Erasmus Mundus funding. We are still trying to get that, but for the next cohort that is not available. And those are some of the live experiences and live issues, as well as even the, remember Radek, when you were collecting, you and Elizabeth were collecting this, you know, how much does it cost to live in each country?
Yeah.
Calculator, right? And those are real things that, of course, at the same time we study, because these are the things that are involved in migration and inclusion, but that our students experience. And yeah, do you want to say something about that?
Oh yeah, so well, the student experience with Global Minds starts when you get your acceptance letter, and then you have to figure out a lot of different things. When it comes to financing, yes, sadly we cannot offer scholarships from the European Union to cover living and tuition, living expenses and tuition in the 2021 edition of the program. However, it's not that we are leaving students at their own resources. All of our universities are European based, so we have access to various programs to facilitate student mobility, like the very famous Erasmus program. So students who start in Warsaw, are in Lisbon, and then have to move to the second semester to Oslo or Limerick, they can receive some financial assistance through the Erasmus Plus program. Same goes for semester 3 when they have to do an internship, if the internship is within one of the countries participating in the Erasmus program, so the European Union and some countries in Europe that are not part of the EU, then we can offer them scholarships or financial assistance through the existing schemes. When it comes to visas, of course, we help our students in the visa process. So we issue all the relevant documentation so that they can apply for visas and that they can get visas. This is I think we started being recognized as a legitimate, as a good quality higher education program in various embassies and consulates in certain countries, where, you know, that very often have doubts about, giving out student visas. So I think the worst is behind us. But yeah, you will never be left by yourself. We will always be there to help you in the visa application process, in getting additional funding. There is a list of possible available scholarships from outside of the Global Minds Network, which are sometimes, well, student loans by governments or the student grants by governments. So I do invite everyone to have a look at our website and have a look at this table, because there's a lot of resources there.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things that, of course, is a major concern for somebody making a decision to study, first of all.
Oh yeah.
Make a decision to study abroad, oh my God. And
Yes.
then you make a decision to come to Global Minds, where you have to actually study in at least 2 different places at the minimum, right? So yeah, these are really serious life decisions that our potential students have to make. And I suppose the fact that we do have the experience of the previous 3 cohorts, where we always had self-funded students. So even if we had some scholarships, we always had also students who had to fund their way through the whole program. I think having that understanding also from the alumni and from the current students who are still, managing and trying to make ends meet, so to say, I think we are in a better place than when we started the program. And thing that you mentioned there was, you know, how we all do have, all the universities have international offices that are quite strong and that are lobbying and have experiences also beyond the Global Minds program in negotiating or you know, giving information. Sometimes it can simply be as easy as giving information to an embassy about the masters that we have here. Yeah, mind all the letters and so on. And I suppose in that line, you know, it's also really interesting to see that there are a lot of learnings that we do between the universities as well. You know, so like the way our international office works is slightly different than the one in Portugal, than the one in Norway, and this is to me one of the strengths of the jointness of it. You know, because you are at any, and what Rosie was saying earlier, at any point in time, you have at your disposal the expertise of at least two universities or two offices, and you know, the team of the masters, but also the offices that are behind any program, you know, the structure of the university. I wonder, Elizabeth, on that point, just to conclude before we move on next, if you have any insights also into that part of like the lived experience and how you perceive that the students managed, you know, whether it's in terms of financial, visa or study concerns. So, you know, do you think that they found a way or they struggled really badly? Do you think that we know better now, or that, you know, we will still always learn? Or how would you put it there?
I think that we are always learning and the students are always learning, but there will always be struggle. You know, not only because each individual, of course, has to deal and learn about the process of acclimation to a new culture, and all of that, plus the rules change. Yes. So there are always new issues that come up, and so part of what the need is for flexibility on everybody's part, and you know, and that is part of what we learn: patience and flexibility, and trying to do problem solving and figure out how to get around any new.
Yeah. And this is, I suppose, something that is always very important in terms of managing expectations, you know, because you know, you can have well, let's put it this way: when you want to study migration, inclusion, diversity, and you yourself are going through these processes as an individual by having to migrate, you know, move between different countries and engage with different systems that of course have more or less accommodating conditions to allow for your inclusion as a person in society, but also as a student in the university. One of the things that you discover is that it's never the same experience for everyone, right? So, and then there is this constant adaptability is actually the greatest life skill that you develop during such a master's, and that we still develop as well, right? So we are all in this together. But that is an important point, that you are not alone. So that we are all learning and keep on learning. And this actually brings me to my next point, and I'm going to share the screen again. And my next point is that basically in this program, what is also unique and related actually to everything we talked about is the internship. Okay, so let's talk about the internship. I mean, there are very mixed experiences here, but it is a core element of, you know, getting employed after you finish your study, right? So ultimately, the only reason we study is to get a job after it. So what kind of jobs can you get after you take a program like the Global Minds? Well, first of all, any job that requires any knowledge of social and cultural psychology, right? So this is a program about psychology, the psychology of how people adapt, interact, and perform when they encounter diversity, okay, or where they have to adapt to a different place, right? And while we are covering a lot of this kind of content of what's going on, one of the key issues that we are also teaching our students is how to do research and how to evaluate research in cross-cultural psychology and in social psychology that looks into these things, right? So when you walk out of the door here, you will walk out with knowledge about the process, with the experience about the processes of migration and adaptation and dealing with diversity, but also with the research skills that will allow you to do research in these fields, or at least evaluate other research, right? So when somebody tells you something, that you will have a scientific approach to it. And one place where a lot of this comes together in this formative element of the masters is actually the internship. And the internship is a moment of it's a moment of experiential learning, right? So that is clear. you practice what you preach, you get there. But I wanted to show up here this slide that we generally say that, you know, go for 300 hours, right? And that can be in the summer between the 2 years or into the second year. And I wonder if people, so we have here a slide, sorry, now my slides are a bit messy. I wanted to pull out the slide with where did people go for internships, right? Because again, we are now graduating a third cohort of students. So I suppose there are many questions, right? First, how do you get one? You know, how do you find the internship? Yeah. And again, there's like a little bit of a dance between, we have some contacts through associate partners. We are trying to formalize some of these contacts more and more to facilitate student placement. But there is also a lot of individual initiative. And at the beginning of the program, there had to be a lot of student initiative in finding the right placement, the right internship for themselves, right? So the places people went were international organizations, universities or research institutions, NGOs or private companies. So this is the past, right? And as we said, you know, there can be then a new reality created by every student we get on the program. But maybe we should just stop there and ask everyone, especially our students, how they experience their internships, you know. Bea, do you want to start about how do you even find one?
Yeah, definitely. So for us at the beginning, it was kind of like it was difficult, you know, because it's not easy. It's not an easy way to, you know, find an internship, because at the beginning, maybe you're trying to find something that really fits you, then you get stressed and then you just try to find anything, you know. So my advice in here that I find my internship by myself is that try to have like a clear perspective of what you want to do. You know, it doesn't need to be your dream job, you know, but the closer that you get to that, the better, you know, because if it's that just the idea that you have in your head and then you do an internship, that will give you the perspective that, okay, this is something that I really want to do, or no, this is not what I thought it would be. So for me, it was just like, I mean, I'm going to be as honest as possible, like hours sitting in front of the computer, just looking randomly for organization. In my case, it was something that was supporting refugees. So it was just looking around, just trying to find a really honest organization, not like the really patriarchal kind of like support. And actually, I found one who was not offering any kind of internship, but I really liked them, and I just sent them an email. So I had this like really prepared, scheduled email presenting myself and what I was supposed to do from this master's internship. And we just got an interview, and they just offered me a place of, like, they were not having any interns. So, you know, don't be afraid of contacting organizations who are not offering internships. And if they're offering, that's fantastic, you know, because in that case, they have experience for that. But I think that this learning is crucial from when you're finished your master's, because Global Minds will end up at some point, you know, and all this support is going to be still there, you know, because like, look at me, I'm here and I've been in contact with Anka since I left. So the contact and the support will be there because we are kind of like a little family. But at some point you need to get your things done by yourself. So if you can find your own internship, all that learning of contacting, creating the email, how to present yourself without the support of anyone, it's a great learning that I cannot stress more.
Thank you so much. And this is also really interesting because I will move on to Didi to ask her how she feels about it, because she ended up doing an internship in a project that we have here, because the University of Limerick is a university of sanctuary. So this means that we have a program where we want to increase access to university education for people who are seeking asylum or who are designated refugees or who have a migration background. And within the context of this University of Sanctuary, we created like an outreach project called the Sanctuary with Psychology. And this was really also a baby that was very much generated since Bea's time. So since the first cohort and just a bit before of the Global Minds, because it brings together psychologists, but also community organizations, or just community, like people in community, you know, people with diverse backgrounds, to try to create a place of sanctuary, right? And Didi ended up working in this mixture of a bit of research, a bit of teaching, a bit of contact with real people. So how did you experience that, Didi? How was it? Because it was kind of half in the university, half out of the university.
Yeah, well, I have to say that I'm really grateful for having that internship. I learned a lot. You cannot imagine all the things that I did there. I had experience as a teacher somehow, like creating a teaching program from zero. I also developed like multiple technological skills. I learned how to do videos, how to put into images, and what I have learned from the master. We also work in a proposal to implement a project, and we got the grant for that, and still we are working on that. So yeah, it was a huge learning. My advice is that you do with your internship what you want to do. Like if you want to go further and challenge yourself, you can do it. I am sure you will learn a lot. And yeah, I am just blessed because so far still I am working in things related with the internship, and this is an amazing experience. I really cannot even count the things that I have done, and I will put in my CV because it was really a highly enriching experience.
But I think the point that I want to take from there is also that you get what you put in. And I think that in general, this applies to anything you do in life. Right? So also in a master's program, you know, there is a program, there are people teaching it, there is, you know, we have all that sorted, right? But even in a course, you know, the more you learn, the more you invest in it, the better the result usually, but also the more that knowledge stays with you. And I suppose with an internship experience, it's very similar. You know, the more you put in it already to find the place, you know, the more invested you are to make it work, and the more that knowledge stays with you. And I suppose another thing I want to take out of it is that you can end up doing 2 or 3 such internships or so on, because this was in a way Rosie's experience. You know, she started as an intern with one organization, but it turned out that there was so much training, for example, needed in that organization before you could actually perform whatever they were expecting you to do, that in a way time ran out, and then she moved to another project, right? So all of that is actually allowed in the system, yeah, and it's a place of kind of, you know, trial and error a little bit, but you do have this kind of a second year. And now with the coronavirus, it was even more, all over the place, of course, yeah, because this was also put a lot of pressure on people to work to start with, never mind find an internship second, you know. Are you happy how it turned out, Rosie, or would you say just don't do it? Stay at home, guys, don't go for a master's. Definitely don't go for one with an internship.
I would say this is sort of the realistic experience because this is the way maybe we have to go when we'll go for our job. So job hunting. So this is sort of realistic experience for me, because the way I I expected from them, and the way it turned out, it was completely upside down. But I am happy that still I'm involved with them, and they are so supportive. And at the same time, now I have another experience with Sanctuary with Psychology, and I'm happy because both of my colleagues are here, Bea and Didi. So I'm also working with them. So I think, yes, I think it's better to take a message that that internship process is sort of in vivo exposure for real life experience for job hunting. So yes, always try for everything and don't feel upset for whatever happened with me. So yes, but this is a realistic experience, a learning experience.
Thank you, Rosie. So I suppose we're coming to a close, and I wanted to signal to the attendees that if they have any particular question or anything that, first of all, they can ask now, they can do it in the question or so on. But of course, all our contact details are also online, so we are more than happy to take and answer any questions, right? So if I was to summarize, you know, first of all, the master's is very much about social issues, and also about social justice. So how do we use psychology to make lives better? Okay, and why do we need to make lives better? Well, because mobility and migration are very, very common phenomena. Okay, and also especially now after we had quite a few wars, at least at the border of Europe. Not that we just started to have them 5 years ago, but you know, they've always been there. You know, the so-called refugee crisis in Europe has also left Europe relatively unprepared to deal with the inclusion of the waves of refugees and asylum seekers that have come to Europe recently. However, our program is an international program, and I think that what is really important and the learning that we are all getting is really, it goes in multiple directions. So, you know, the knowledge that Rosie and Didi would have brought from outside of Europe has developed, has grown our experience within the masters and our knowledge about what's happening outside of Europe, as much as empowered them with, and this is what we know here, you know, this is what we do here in research, in teaching, and in real life, right? So this global dimension of the global mind is inherently there because of the things that we teach, the things that we want to understand more through research, but also it's there because of the people who are involved in the masters, you know, so the students as well as all of the staff. And I think that this is also an important point, that all of ourselves, all of the staff that are delivering on the Global Minds project are involved in international professional associations. So we are parts of the Cross-Cultural Psychology Association, we are part of the Political Psychology Association, of the European Association of Social Psychology, and all these networks usually stretch out globally, and we are bringing this expertise into the program, whether it's through invited scholars or whether it's through the quality boards and all these board things that we like to do to check, to make sure that the quality is high. And at the moment, Didi and Bea, and probably Rosie too, are involved in setting up the alumni network, the Alumni Association. So guys, if you just want to say 1 or 2 words about where we are at with that, but importantly, I think that the importance of this is that for any new student into our program, they are walking into an already established network, not, or multiple networks, not just at the level of the program and the staff that is working to deliver the program, but also now at the level of the students and alumni. And this is really your future, guys, right? So we are here to kind of, you know, scaffold the growth of the new generation of social and cultural psychologists. And I think that this Alumni Association is a great promise for anybody who comes to study into the program from now on. So do you guys want to tell us where it's at?
I'm just going to say it really briefly, and did you then like explain it further? But as a first generation Global Minds, I will never say that after what, 3-4 years, now we are getting to organize this like alumni network, you know, because at the beginning it was just like us, the class, and facing everything that was like been put like in front of us. And now, like the other day, and Didi can tell you like more in detail, we did this like big workshop to develop the constitution, what our values, what our aims, what our vision. And it was like a lot of people from all the cohorts discussing all of this. And the thing that brought us all together was Global Minds. I mean, it was super touching. It was very long, and we were all there like to do it together. And Didi can tell you more about that.
So in general, we are very excited to continue with this project. Our idea is to have this channel of communication between all the people who has studied in the Global Minds program, but also make an emphasis in our topics, that is global mobility, diversity, and inclusion, and how to apply all this knowledge in the real life. So we are now trying to also establish this association. As Bia mentioned, we are in the process to build the constitution. I think that by next week we will have a foundation meeting. Finally, we will decide a governing board, and then we'll register officially the organization. And afterwards, hopefully, we will start working in running the association and start creating projects, because that is one of our main aims: creating projects, start applying the knowledge in Europe and hopefully in other countries. So our mission and future is to contribute to a better world for everyone, of course, like the values that we have learned from the program, but also like being a network of experts in this area, and contribute not only to Europe, but also to our countries back home. So yeah, that is how it's everything, and we really hope to have you in the program, and also have you in our network and this group of people that are interested somehow to make a more inclusive and diverse world for everyone. So yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. I'm even getting emotional about, look what we've created. Woohoo! This is great. So I suppose this was it for us. We wanted to have this kind of webinar, more of a discussion about, you know, the program is about this, but these are the experiences and these are the unique points. As we mentioned, the unique points are the fact that it's a joint program. So you do get to experience different countries, different academic cultures, and with that comes some challenges that are contributing to your experiential learning, because you yourself have to be the migrant, you yourself have to figure out the visas and adapt and integrate yourself in the different countries where you move. But what is also interesting in this jointness is that you are not alone, because yes, you are experiencing this as an individual, but you are doing it in a relatively safe space, because there is a program behind you. There are 4 universities across Europe behind you who are opening up these opportunities for you. And now you even have this lovely network of the previous students who are still vested into the program. And I think they are a testimony to how transformational learning in the Global Minds program can be. And again, it's up to us to give the opportunity. Here's what you can do, and it's always up to the students to make the best of those opportunities. And we are really dedicated to make this work. And I suppose the last point about that we really wanted to show here was that the internship is also an element of that experiential learning, and it's also quite a unique element in a master's program, because typically some master's programs are 1 year, you come in and you go out, you get a lot of content and skills, maybe academically, but not so much the real life experience of working in an organization, finding a job, making sense of it, and trying to apply the knowledge already before you can say, oh, I have knowledge because I have a diploma, right? We didn't talk so much about the other elements of the masters, like the research, the research thesis, or the actual contents, the summer school, or things like this. But you can definitely find this kind of information on our web pages, and you can also contact us. So I really want to conclude the session by saying we are really, really excited to be able to continue running the Global Minds program. We want to see it grow, and we really look forward to welcome new students on the program. So please apply and come join us. Any other goodbye messages from anybody on the team here? Radek? Come to Poland could be one.
Come to Poland, come to Portugal, come to Ireland, come to Norway. No, I think what I would like to add, and I think this is extremely important, and again, going back to the internship, I mean, and to us being a group that will always have each other's back. When you graduate from the Global Minds program, you already have work experience because of the internship. So you don't go out there, you know, kind of blank. You not only have a higher education diploma, you not only have a master's degree in psychology, but you already have this hands-on experience that will make you much more attractive in the eyes of your employer. And then you have these wonderful people who have decided to create this network of alumni that will also help you out. So it is a, you know, if you are thinking about your future and you are interested in the psychology of migration, in psychology of acculturation, this is the best program out there for you. Because you experience migration, you experience acculturation, you experience all the good and the bad that is related to that. And you also get work experience while you're doing it. So I think this is why this program is absolutely excellent.
And just,
My ears.
just to say that, we didn't talk about the research, which is a big, so the thesis is an empirical thesis. So you also get really hands-on research experience and real experience doing a full research study. Most students do. And in reality, we didn't talk so much about what people do when they leave the program, but the reality is most of them actually end up in the research area. So Bea is now a research assistant. There's quite a few who end up working at NGOs and some with other types of organizations, but there are graduates who are PhD students at ISCTE, at UIO, and soon to be at UL as well, right? Or do you have any who have already started at
I
UL?
have two lining up, and we also have Ray is in Hong Kong.
Right.
I
Yeah.
remember the name of the
And
university.
others at other universities too.
Yes.
But I was just going to say, of the four universities in the program, 3 of them have Global Minds graduates as PhD students. Plus, yes, we have someone at Lausanne in Switzerland. We have someone in Hong Kong. We have someone, I forget where, there was somewhere else. Anyway, so a number of different places.
So our research career is also definitely on the is also on the cards, basically.
Yeah, it's very,
At least from the experience of the first 3 cohorts.
yeah. So
Yeah, thank you for that. That's an important addition. So we obviously need another webinar to talk about all of that part.
right.
Rosie, do you want to say a few final words?
Thank you, Anka. I think for me, coming from non-European background and especially living this lived experience with people from 3 other continents. So this is the best experience I can have as a student. This is the best experience I can get as a colleague from my co-workers, Bea and Didi here, and also from my supervisors. And yes, the way Anka and Elizabeth, both of them shared the importance of thesis and internship, I think the best feature of this master's program is that we have 1 year, full 1 year, even more than 1 year, because this research starts from last summer. So we have more than 1 year to understand all the research related topics and internship. So yes, I would request everyone, if you have any question, if you want to say anything, you will have all of our email address and you can reach us through LinkedIn, through Facebook, through Instagram. We will be happy to answer because this is something really closer to our heart. We are studying and we are passionate about this for diversity.
Thank you so much, Rosie. That's really good to mention that we are kind of on all sorts of social media platforms as well. So, you know, if one email is not answered, you can try the other one. Bea?
Yeah, I was just going to say that thank you for doing this. I think that this could be really helpful for potential new applicants of the master. And yeah, it's just like, I'm just going to repeat Rose's words, you know, it's like fantastic. I'm super happy that I'm where we are, and it's all because of Global Minds. You know, it's not only about the friends that I made, it's all the experience that I learned. And it has been like a key for my life. So I cannot emphasize how much you should apply to this program.
Oh, thank you. I hope they hear you. Didi, last words.
I just have to say that
Your microphone, or is it just me?
I have to say that I really love this program and it's completely worth it. I am really happy for what I am doing right now with my thesis, for the plans in the future. I am really optimistic, and I really think I really feel empowered and having this desire to make a change. So yeah, I have to also get motivated and join the program.
Thank you. And we will stop there. At the moment, we haven't planned another webinar, but that is probably still on the cards. We'll see. We hope that you'll stay in touch with us, and I'll stop the recording now. Yeah, is that okay? Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today.